Good morning. How's it going? Oops. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Morning, everyone. How's it going? What am I doing? I need coffee cups. Did I run the dishwasher last night? I did. Not doing work at work, that's fair. I am doing work at work right now. Believe it or not, this is part of my work. It doesn't look like work, but it is work. It's going. That's how I read that. It's going. It's going. Hey, Jen. Hey, Sloth. I'd rather be doing your work. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty fair. I wouldn't know how to do your work. Yeah, it's morning for me. It's barely 8:30 in the morning. Yeah. It's pretty early here. It's pretty early here, I must say. Oh, no question marks. Well, you know what? Believe it or not, Anna or Anna, however you pronounce it, people do come in sometimes and they're like, it's not morning, it's afternoon. And I'm like, time zones exist. I know you didn't mean it that way, but it's pretty funny. We get people from all over and they're like, it's not morning. You can't say good morning. And I'm like, okay, well, good afternoon. I was like, I'm just trying to be neighborly by saying good morning because it's clearly morning here. It's pretty funny. People get really up in arms about time zones. They don't like it. It's 11:30, still morning. Yeah, it's still morning pretty much the entire US. So, yeah. It'd be nice if I could open this, wouldn't it? It'd be nice for me. Do you guys want to laugh a little at Secret Husband about something? What is on my face? Just light? Okay, just light. Yesterday, yes, let's make coffee, Victoria. Yesterday, Secret Husband went to the grocery store for us so that I wouldn't have to because I was tired, which was so kind. And he got everything that was on the list. So wonderful. And in addition to the crackers I asked for, he also purchased saltines because he knows I get sick sometimes with his pregnancy. And he said, I got you saltines. Isn't that exciting? I said, yes, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. He went to bed after I did last night because he was working a little late, and I woke up and the saltines have been broken into. I love this man, but I do think he bought the saltines for himself. But you know what? I begrudge him nothing. Eat those saltines, baby. There's plenty to go around. It's okay. I wasn't expecting them anyway, so I can't be upset. I prefer butter crackers if we're being honest. And you know what I do? Oh my gosh, senior year, that's crazy. Yes, he was just making sure that they weren't poison. That's right. I really like butter crackers with a little bit of whipped cream cheese on top. You know what I mean? Hey, Ash. It's real good. If you haven't tried it, I recommend. It's a really good sugar-free snack. A little bit of whipped cream cheese on top of a butter cracker is a really great fix for morning sickness, I have found. Yes. And it gives you protein and a little, whatever. Ritz are your kryptonite. I don't know if I can have Ritz. Do Ritz have sugar in them? I haven't checked. The butter crackers don't have sugar in them, though. It's nice. He's super big boy. He is super big boy. Senior year is super big boy. Do you mind if you pour the coffee in the cup and not on the cup? What are you doing here exactly? Ritz probably have sugar because I like them. I mean, maybe. I honestly haven't checked recently. I loved them when I was a kid. I know that. They're delicious. So for you, carbs and sugar are not considered the same. No, I just don't do any added sugars because my body doesn't process them the same way. Ritz does have sugar. Yeah, I figured. Yeah. And it's interesting because I had a scan recently that proved that what I do works because I have no cysts on my ovaries right now, you guys. 0. My plan worked. I have no cysts. So, like, I guess technically I still have PCOS, but, like, not right now. No cysts. So that was nice. It works. I did a good job. Not eating added sugar actually works. I still eat like bread and crackers, not all breads, because some breads have sugar in them, right? Like I can have sourdough, I can have rye, and then I eat fruit, you know. So it worked. It worked. Yeah, when I went, the doctor just like, she did a little scanny scan and she was like, yeah, you're all good. I was like, cool. None of my business, but does PCOS affect the pregnancy? It does not. It affects your ability to get pregnant, but it does not affect the pregnancy after it is stuck, if you will, or like implanted, you know? So yeah, sourdough is the best bread anyway. I agree. Yeah, we're a big sourdough family. My sister used to just like eat sourdough by the mountainfuls. That's amazing. I'm insulin PCO resistance, but might try your nursery. I mean, it can't hurt. That's the thing, you guys. This is what I tell everyone. I was like, look, I'm no doctor, but cutting added sugar out can't hurt. It can't make your situation worse, right? It might not make it better, but it definitely won't make it worse, right? That's the thing. I was like, because I just couldn't handle the pain anymore. Toasted sourdough with a slab of salted butter, nothing better. And sprinkle a little avocado on top of them. Not sprinkle. Put a little avocado on top of it and a little bit of lemon pepper and a tomato. So good. Or when you're not pregnant, dip your sourdough in a runny egg. Yeah, that's what we want, right? Morning. Yay, you definitely made it on time. I'm still just making my coffee and stuff. Do you eat food with artificial sweeteners? Depends. It depends on the sweetener and what it does to the body, you know, because they're all different, right? I try to do plant-based stuff like honey. Honey's great. I know that's not an artificial sweetener by any means. Yes, Megan, I am. I wonder if it works for, wait, hold on. PCOS and endometriosis. It might. I didn't have endo, but I know a lot of people who do. When I was in France, I ate an entire baguette and a stick of butter a day. Listen, when I was in Italy, I was eating croissants left and right because they don't put sugar in their croissants. Toast with fried egg, pepper jack cheese, avocado. Yep. You are totally right. Totes correct. 10 out of 10. What do you that? Although I have to be honest, I don't think I'm allowed to have everything bagel seasoning because I think Trader Joe's puts sugar in that. Am I crazy? It doesn't affect endo. Okay, it doesn't. It's worth trying, you know, it's worth knowing. But I think you did the chocolate one. Yeah. I just did Malesio. I think a lot of those Trader Joe's blends have a little bit of sugar in them, right? Am I crazy? Am I like off base? Gluten and dairy and blood inflammation went down with my endo. Yeah, everyone's different. I don't know. I have the whole food blends. That's amazing. Okay, so it doesn't have sugar. Okay, great. Okay, this is great news, you guys. It's not in the Whole Foods one, and it's not in the. I know. I love Kirkland stuff. Kirkland's amazing. A+ for Kirkland. I eat a lot of Kirkland things. I also use the Kirkland contact solution for coating clears. Do you have to do the diabetes test in the US when you are pregnant? If you're talking about the glucose test, yes, you do, but I will not be doing the glucose test. I will be asking for the alternative, which is a blood test that you have to do over a couple of days, because I do not think my body could handle the glucose test, given that it's been more than 5 years since I've had added sugar. I think my body would probably revolt and I'd probably just start barfing. So I am going to decline that. I am not even close to diabetic. I'm not super worried. I know gestational diabetes is a little bit different than regular diabetes. That being said, I am just going to tell them they have to do the blood test. I know you have to prick your finger and do the little droppies or whatever over 5 days. I'm going to have to do it because I cannot imagine putting that much sugar in my body all in one go. I think I will be sick. I don't think it's a good idea to try that. Yeah. Yeah, 5 years. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is a new one. I tried the vanilla almond. It's so good. Can you imagine ingesting that? I cannot imagine it. Yeah, I'll use a glucometer over multiple days. Yeah, exactly. It made a lot of people sick, and they already eat sugar. Like I was talking to Becca about it, and she was like, it made me sick and I eat sugar regularly. And I was like, yeah, so I'm gonna literally look at my doctor. I have to go on Monday and talk to her about some other stuff. Thank you so much, Lula. And I'm just gonna say, look, here's the sitch. I understand why you want it done, but we're gonna have to do it a different way. I'm just not drinking that thing. Sorry, not doing it. And it has nothing to do with all of the like fake rumors going around that are like, I know there's a lot of misinformation about the ingredients in the glucose test and the BVO and all of that. I've read up on all that. I'm not declining it because of misinformation. I'm declining it because of the sugar, which is very real. That is not misinformation. That is very real. And I'm just not going to do it. I was like, look, I'm going to say, look, remember last time I was in here and you looked at my ovaries and you said they were pretty and they don't have any cysts on them? Let's keep it that way. I haven't decided yet, Sophie. I haven't decided yet. I have met with one. I have another today. I'm in Canada, but here you can decline and they can't make you. Yeah, they can't make you here either. But I do want to keep a good relationship with my doctor. She's really nice. She's very sweet. She's really young and super progressive. And I like her and her vibe, and I just want to be really polite when I decline it to like keep a good relationship with her. So far so good. You know, she's real cool, and I'm stuck with her for the next 6 months. So, you know, this is really good, by the way, you guys. I cannot imagine, what am I talking about? This is the vanilla almond flavor. It's supposed to be for iced, but I decided to just bite the bullet today and do it with hot coffee anyway. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. I don't usually like flavors, but this is amazing. It's really good. You can say no to a lot of tests. I didn't realize that with the twins, but with Jack, I told them, yeah, thank you, Valerie, I will. I'm going to. I've done all the other ones. I've done everything else they've asked. It's just this one. You know what I mean? It's just this one that I will not be doing. So anyway, you know, advocate for yourself. Speak up, do your own thing. You know, it is what it is. And if anything, ice will just be stronger hot because it's more ground. But that's fair. That's fair. I don't drink as much coffee these days as I used to anyway, and the doctor told me that I could keep drinking the regular amount I did, but I haven't been. So, Anya, you are the best. But anyway, let's get reading. Just so you know, if you are a Sparkle Pop and all of those are going to the mail today right after this. I'm going to the post office right after this. Well, actually not right after this, like an hour after this, but all of those will be mailed out. We're only on chapter 1. We just read the prologue yesterday, and that's already been uploaded for anyone who missed it. So you're in good shape. Anyone who wants to join today, we're just doing chapter 1 today, so it's pretty great. So let's get going. As far back as I can remember, I was performing and trying to make people laugh. Relatable. I grew up on I Love Lucy, Welcome Back Kotter, Happy Days, Gilligan's Island, Three's Company, Stanford and Son, All in the Family, Good Times. You get the idea. Watching all of these shows always made me feel something. I knew early on that I wanted to make people feel the same way. Agreed. I Love Lucy is godsend. She was chef's kiss. As a kid, I was always putting on shows, recreating skits from the Carol Burnett show, singing Donnie and Marie songs in the living room. My older sister, Nicole, reluctantly played my sidekick. Although she never had the enthusiasm for these skits and performances, she obliged anyway. I also took to giving her notes like, Nick, Donnie loves Marie, so when we do him a little bit country, you gotta look at me like he looks at Marie, with a big smile and maybe a wink. She would respond with, or how about I just punch you in the face? Okay, well, we all make choices as a performer. That's siblings. What are you gonna do? It's a very real interaction from two little sisters. When I was 9 years old, I heard that the Broadway musical Annie was holding open auditions for the lead role. I didn't let the fact that I had no singing talent or acting experience deter me. My mom supported me, believing that I would one day be an actress, and she got a playwright friend to teach me the song Tomorrow and take me to the group audition. Her boyfriend at the time photographed me for my headshots, in which I wore my best Little House on the Prairie shirt. And when I got the pictures back, I was seriously floored at how beautiful I looked. Clearly, the Annie people would see this little gem from Brooklyn and want to hire me on the spot. But I was still willing to sing for them if need be. We're reading Leah Remini's memoir. It's called Troublemaker. The audition was a cattle call, which meant everyone was assigned a number and sat in the audition section of a huge theater until that number was called. The image running through my mind was that of a front page headline in the New York Post. Brooklyn girl with no experience nabs Annie role. Whatever I lacked in terms of dancing or singing, someone could teach me, right? I had the chutzpah to land the part, and as for my long, straight brown hair, well, that's what wigs are for, right? And with that, I was off to hand the director my picture. But as soon as my name was called and I got on stage, facing the director and all those people in the darkened theater, I went into a blind panic. The pianist hit a key and I started singing immediately. No, that's for the key, the director interrupted. Okay, well, maybe you should tell people that. Do you think you want me to start again? I said. Nope, that's okay. Go home to mommy, the director said as he looked down at the clipboard. That's so cruel. I did go full Lucy, but they're from the same area. She's from Brooklyn. I had to turn it on for her. Her quotes have to be in that, but that is a cruel thing for the director to say to a kid. That's cruel. That's maybe too much, you guys. Like, I'm a Broadway person, but I actually just gasped. I've been in the audition room, and I've never seen anyone speak to anyone that way in an audition room. Maybe either this is a very mean director or she was exaggerating, because that doesn't happen. I've never heard of that. Sorry, I didn't mean to get thrown off, but that's a little weird, right? Anyway. Well, I burst into tears before I had even gotten off the stage. I was crying the way kids do when they can't catch their breath. My mom's friend, the one who taught me the song, had brought me to the audition, took me for a slice of pizza and an Italian ice, over which we discussed how that director would regret not hiring me and how Annie was gonna bomb without me. The Broadway show Annie would suffer, and suffer big without me in it. I have bad news for her. Annie did not suffer. It's okay. We all live and we learn, you know? It's not a big deal. When I wasn't acting out my favorite TV shows, Nicole and I could be found hanging out on 86th Street near Bay Parkway, where loud music thumped from the cars to get girls' attention, even though the guys in their gold chains, Old Spice, and gelled hair acted like they were too cool to care. Morning.
Old Spice, huh?
Yeah, Old Spice.
Morning.
Morning. I aspired to be one of those girls who got the attention, whose attention the guys sought. Tight Jordache and Sergio Valentine jeans with a brush jammed in the back pocket, lots of makeup and Aquanet, and even more attitude. All they ever seemed to do was hang out on the corner, like I can't say the word on here, so a person who hangs out on a corner, but not, and I wanted in on that. I vowed that when I was older, maybe like 12 or 13, I would be just like them. This was Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, circa 1980. We talked tough, but ultimately, it was a protective neighborhood for those who belonged. When a car alarm went off, there would be 5 Joeys and Frankies out on the street with bats within 2 minutes. There was no such thing as minding your own business. If a boyfriend was fighting with his girlfriend, another guy would start yelling at him, "Yo, don't effing talk to her like that." Enough said. When we were kids, our neighborhood basically consisted of a bakery, a pizzeria, a bagel store, a Baskin-Robbins, a chock full of nuts, a Te Amo, and an Optima. That was our whole universe. While Manhattan was just a quick train ride away, it was foreign to Nicole and me. Places like Long Island and New Jersey were another planet entirely. When our mom took us to the Poconos for a vacation, which was a rarity, a lady of the night, Tressa, a lady of the night. We met a group of girls who asked us if we wanted to help collect things for a collage. First, we had to clear up what a collage was because my sister and I didn't speak French. When it rained, these kids stayed inside and played Atari, unlike us Brooklyn kids who were used to hanging out in front of the candy store come rain, sleet, or mini hurricane. Our regular neighborhood haunt was the local Te Amo convenience store near the D train. We could also be found at other people's houses where it seemed like there were always better toys and better food than at ours. I spent a lot of time at my friend's place above our apartment on Bay Parkway. She had a Barbie dream house, which back then to little girls was pretty much the equivalent of crack. That's where I was playing one day when Mom called Nicole and me downstairs to share some news. I gotta tell you girls something, Mom said. Your dad and I are separating. I don't want you to be upset. It's okay, I'm okay, and we're gonna be okay. I sat there basically without expression and looked at my sister, wondering if I should try to fake being a little more upset. George, my dad, was the classic paysan of Sicilian origin who used hairspray on his remaining 3 hairs, wore a rope chain and a pinky ring, and got his nails done, and kept the car, a Cadillac of course, perfectly clean and smelling good with one of those scented trees that hang from the rear view mirror, and I was scared shitless of this man. He never hit me. Nicole, on the other hand, did get smacked. You're older and you should know better, he used to say to my sister as if she were going to college already, even though she was just a year older than me. What terrified me was the way my dad could annihilate you when he spoke, throwing around words like, I'm actually not going to say the words here because I think that I will get in trouble, but idiot is one of them, the R word is one of them. We know where this is going, right? Mean things that people say, but at the drop of a hat. One time when we were little and pretending to make soup in the bathroom sink out of his Old Spice, contact cold capsule, and most of the other contents of the medicine cabinet, I saw my dad at the end of the hallway, and when he asked, what the F are you doing? I got a hot all over, and I really couldn't say a word. After Nicole answered, we're making soup, he spanked her. For some reason, I always laughed when my sister got hit. I'm sure that it was a defense mechanism against more complicated emotions, or maybe I was just an evil kid and I liked to see her getting hit. Hey, Claire. We're just barely like 2 pages in, Claire, so you haven't missed much yet. Idiots, he said. Get in your room. He was only raising us the way that he'd been raised, but anytime he was around, I was tense, even when he was trying to be kind. For example, one time when I came to the dinner table and I found a paper bag on my chair, so I didn't sit down. What are you gonna do, just stand there? He asked, looking at me. What's the right answer here? I didn't want to say the wrong thing, so I didn't say anything. Pick up the bag, idiot, my dad said. Thinking this was some kind of a trick, I nervously picked up the bag and opened it. Inside was a doll. By the time I realized what it was, however, I was so wound up that I started to cry. What's wrong with you? Dad started yelling. Someone tries to give you a gift and here you are crying? I couldn't catch my breath to explain myself. I remember once when I carelessly shoved a box of cookies into the kitchen cabinet, my dad walked in and saw what I was doing and said, what kind of an animal puts cookies back this way? He grabbed the box and threw the cookies across the room. I respond by giving him the cold shoulder. An hour later, I went into the living room to get a blanket, and there was my dad, sitting on the couch watching TV. He smiled at me, and he gave me a nod. Again, I ignored him. What, you mad at me? You mad at Daddy? You're not talking to me? Come, sit down and watch this movie with me. Before long, my resolve melted, and I sat down and cuddled up next to him. I fell for it every time. When he wasn't yelling and calling us names, my dad could be charming, loving, protective, and everything that you would want a dad to be, everything that would draw me in. He had a big personality, and when he was around, he would take over the room and everyone else would disappear. Try again as I might to resist him, again and again, I couldn't. Yeah, well, they're from Brooklyn, Claire, right? So you gotta put it on a little bit. They're Italians from Brooklyn. I gotta give it a little bit of my family, you know, spice. When it was just I've decided that I can't do the whole thing in an accent because it would all blend together. So I'm doing the narration in my own voice and the characters in there. You know, even though they're real people, they're not characters. We all know that these are real humans. When it was just my mom, it was like a different world. Vicky was a fun, free spirit kind of hippie. She didn't believe in sugar, and she wore her hair parted down the middle with barrettes holding it back on the sides. Cheers. But she always
had a look like she was a little bit of trouble. There weren't a whole lot of rules with her. She was an only child, and her mother and father, who were Jewish, died when she was very young. So she was sent to live with an aunt who made it very clear that she hated my mother because Mom didn't have structure or traditions or a traditional mother in her own childhood. So she never learned that role, nor did she want to. Although she was a stay-at-home mom, she wasn't a big cook. She didn't make her own sauce like the Italian moms did. She didn't make rice and beans like the moms of my Puerto Rican friends. Dinner at our house was anything that you could coat in egg and 4C breadcrumbs and fry it up. Happy birthday, Rome! Congratulations! That's amazing! You're a big girl now. I'm a big kid now. That and salad with way too much vinegar. Okay, don't be giving vinegar slander up in here. We love vinegar on our salads. There's no such thing as too much vinegar. I will not hear that kind of slander. No one wanted to come to my house after school because we didn't have Twinkies, Devil Dogs, Oreos, or anything else good to eat. Once, after playing Charlie's Angels on the playground at school, I invited my friends over, but when they got there, all I could say was, "Hey, anyone up for some wheat thins? Nah, we have tab. No? Okay." That's about when someone would suggest that we move on to hang at my friend Roberta's house. I didn't blame them. Roberta's apartment was everything that a household should look like, smell like, and, well, essentially be. It came complete with plastic slip covers over the furniture to protect it, and a special case to house her mother's Norman Rockwell figurines in. I was convinced that this was what a home was supposed to look like, and that's definitely not how we were rolling. Yeah, I would be down for some wheat thins too. Hey Sarah, we are reading Troublemaker by Leah Remini. This is her memoir, and so far so good. We're just barely half a chapter in, so good stuff. When I asked my mom why we didn't have plastic on our furniture like Roberta did, she said, "You want your ass to stick to the couch?" Yes, and I wanted it to have that lemony smell of pledge in the house. That's right, the wood cleaner. All my friends had to pledge all the wood furniture in their house on weekends, and I wanted to do the same. I also wanted my mom to iron my clothes for school, put a crease down the middle of my pants like the other girls' pants had. Well, instead, my mom showed me where the iron was and told me how to use it. I was obsessed with how I thought things should appear. I think on some level, every kid wants what other kids have, but I was particularly status conscious. It was in my DNA to constantly scan my surroundings, always observing, always making mental notes of the details that would make me the right kind of person. And if I couldn't be this right kind of person with the right kind of things, I'd be quick to criticize myself before anyone else could. And I would often bark out to my mother, "Why don't we have this? And why don't we have that?" Collecting things, creases in my pants, plastic covers, pledged dining room tables. This is how you are accepted, I thought. But I was never able to achieve or find the normalcy that I craved. I felt subpar to all my friends. Even those friends who lived in the projects and had moms who spent their days at home cooking delicious vats of rice and beans while I was left to eat a 2-day-old bagel. Because of my obsession with appearances, I was skeptical at first of Mom's boyfriend, Dennis, who she brought home when I was 7 years old, after she had divorced my dad. Well, in comparison to my dad, Dennis was a bit of a geek. He had glasses, pants belted high up on his waist, and a mustache. I don't know if they still have her mom and stepdad at a restaurant. Oh, do they really? That's funny. Maybe I'll go. But he was also very sweet, and he didn't make me feel tense when he was around, not like my dad did. Dennis immediately put Nick and me at ease when he gave us this speech. "Hey, look, I'm not trying to be your dad. You already have one of those. Look at me as a friend. I love your mother, and I will love you." My sister and I liked his spirit, but we were going to have to work on his look a little bit, starting with getting a little dippity-doo into that hair. Dennis was an easygoing and playful guy, just like my mom. They would do things like have water fights where they'd run into our room and use Nick and me as human shields while they threw cupfuls of water at each other. That's actually very sweet. That's a very sweet childhood. I support this. Even though he was Italian, Dennis wasn't anything like the other guys we knew. He didn't seem to have any man hang-ups or the macho mentality that most men I grew up with had. He was a waiter and a great cook, and he made us food whenever he was home. "Your mother's not going to cook a decent meal ever for you girls," he joked, "so you better be nice to me." It's true, actually. You should. Yeah, be nice to him so that you get the good food, right? It's fair. It's fair. He didn't dismiss us or try to shoo us away like everyone else in the neighborhood did. Instead, he looked us right in the eye and took everything we said seriously, even though we were just kids. Mom said it was because he was a Scientologist. Uh-oh. Ah, beans. Here I was all excited about this guy, and this is... Everyone makes mistakes. This might be a really big mistake, but everyone makes them, and we're gonna hope that he... Dennis, I was on your side. Why you gotta do me like this? Okay. I didn't know what that meant. Some kind of scientist, maybe, but I didn't really care either. At least not until my mother started going to the city by herself and not coming back until late at night. Where do you go, Ma? I asked one night over chicken cutlets at the table when it seemed like it'd been forever since she'd been home for dinner. I go to this church, she said. But aren't you Jewish? I asked. The only church I knew of was the Catholic one that we often attended with my grandmother, my father's mother, who lived in Little Italy. This is the Church of Scientology. This church isn't about God and saints. It's about helping you to live a better life. Like the course I'm doing now. I'm learning that if you do something bad, even if it's a little, if you're a good person, you feel bad about it. And what happens is that in your mind, the little things become a big thing, and that leads you to feel bad about yourself. And that leads you to do more bad things. All these bad things, no matter how small they are, they're called overts. And if you don't get over these overts and get them off, you'll do worse things. Don't know if that's true. But if you tell the truth about what you've done, she continued, you kind of clear the slate, and then you don't feel like you have to do any more bad things. That's what's called in Scientology getting off your overts, like confessing your sins, but a little more practical. Really, more practical. Does anyone want to look up practical in the dictionary? Because I don't think she knows what it means. No offense, but that does not sound like practicality to me, but I've been wrong in the past. What do I know? I'm just a big old backslidden Christian. That's why you should tell me anything you girls have done that I don't know about. As soon as my mom said that, I thought about the operation I had come up with to feed my leg warmer addiction. After seeing Flashdance, I decided I needed leg warmers in every color. Oh yeah, same Victoria, aren't we all? Like, we're totally those people, right? We don't want to do it, but we want to know about it. I needed leg warmers in every color. I was always about quantity rather than quality. And I told the neighborhood boys I would give a hickey to anyone who stole leg warmers for me from the Chinese vendors. That's not a sentence I ever thought I was gonna utter out loud, but here we are on this, the 9th day of August, 2024. Those words have come out of my mouth now. At the time, I don't know where she is, Victoria. Nobody knows where she is. She might not even be with us on this plane any longer. You know what I'm saying? I can't say it on TikTok, but I don't believe that she's still kicking, if we're being honest. Yeah, work it. At the time, hickeys were a big deal. It was practically a sign that you were up to some stuff. We practiced them on ourselves, like on our upper arms. This way you could just pull down your sleeves and no one would know that you'd been practicing on yourself. When it came to trading hickeys for leg warmers, I was very specific about what it was going to take to put my lips on a boy's neck. We're talking a minimum of 3 pairs, preferably purple with glitter, and light purple. It was a brilliant idea, if I do say so myself. So here I was at the dinner table wanting to do what my mom was asking, to tell the truth, but if I did that, she no doubt was going to end me. Yeah, but it's been so many years, Jen. How could someone be hiding for that long? I feel like I think she girl bossed too close to the sun and they said, nah, son, and they ended it. Ma, I said, I didn't personally steal anything. Leah, what did you do? Yeah, well, I might have said that I would give someone a hickey if they got me leg warmers from the Chinese shop. Yeah, she was buried with the secrets. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, 2007. It's been decades. It's too long. She's almost been gone 20 years, y'all. Ew, Nicole said. Normally I would have told Nicole to shut up, but I was steeling myself for the more important reaction from my mom. The reaction of most moms I knew would be to crack me on the mouth. Who tells their mother the truth? No one. That's who. All kids know this. I assumed I'd be punished in some serious way for the leg warmer hickey racket. This was a test. Yeah, well, thank you for telling me, my mom said. I waited for the catch, but there was none. Instead, she showed me the precepts about stealing and said, I know you know the difference between right and wrong. I just want you to make better decisions for yourself. What was this magic happening before me? I looked at her. I looked at my sister, back to my chicken cutlet, back to my mom, back to my plate, hoping the carrots would disappear, but they didn't. All right, that's okay. A miracle was still occurring. Hey, I like carrots. It was like the clouds had parted and a ray of light came shining down on me. Even for someone as lenient as my mom, this was unheard of. On top of not receiving any kind of punishment for the leg warmer fence, I suddenly felt like I went from being a kid to someone capable of making my own decisions. The sense of power and superiority was exciting. No, I didn't have sugar cereals or arroz con pollo on the stove, but damn it, I had acquired some grown-up power. Nicole is making out with boys when you're not here, I said. I am gonna kick your ass, Nicole yelled at me. Well, you're not giving anything up. You have to be honest. I'm just saying. Okay, Leah, Mom said. You don't need to give up other people's transgressions. And stop with the bread. Just eat your carrots. I liked a religion where I didn't get in trouble for stealing leg warmers, but I didn't like that my mom was hardly ever home because she was at the church so much. Does that book say anything about kids being home alone? Are you leaving early in the morning for church and not coming home until later? I said. Well, Mom said, if you don't want to be here by yourself, come and meet me in the city after school and come check out the church with me. She didn't have to ask me and my sister twice. The next day, Nicole and I met at the subway and took the B train into the city for the first time by ourselves. As we walked up the stairs to the elevator subway track, I was fearful, but I was comforted by having my sister by my side. On the train, I felt a little less secure. Graffiti was everywhere, and a guy was slumped in the corner. Everything was filthy. We hadn't even arrived at the city yet, and it was already so different from Bensonhurst. There was no friends here, no Joeys or Frankies, nobody to look out for us. We got off the train at Times Square, which back then was basically the worst place in the world for two young girls. But here we were, headed to the New York Org, the main place where people studied and did other activities central to Scientology, and where my mom was working on staff. By the time we arrived at the building on 46th Street between Broadway and 8th Avenue, we had passed so many leering men and X-rated places that the big building, which looked like a bank or a theater, had hanging metal awning that read, "The Church of Scientology of New York." It really did seem like a real church, or maybe a refuge. Despite how freaked out we were about going into the city that first time, Nick and I started going all the time. After school, on weekends, all summer. We were on course at the New York Org, which meant we were doing one of the 20 Scientology life improvement courses that dealt with all parts of life, from finance to family. We were told that L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, developed discoveries of existence, which give you the know-how to overcome the ups and downs, to know who you can trust, to organize your life, and to achieve your goals, and much more. My sister and I were twinning, which meant we took all our introductory courses together and teamed up for the drills that you have to do on course. And one of our first was a cornerstone of Scientology, the Success Through Communication course. The point of the course was straightforward enough. It was going to teach us how to talk to people better, and I was all in for that. My mouth was always getting me in trouble. The drills that we did in that room with the other kids and adults on different courses were called training routines, or TRs. During the first one, OTTR 0, Operation Thetan, confronting a Thetan in Scientology meant a spirit, Nick and I had to keep our eyes closed and sit there across from each other. We often used that as a chance to get a nap in, but our supervisor came in and told us that that wasn't the purpose of the drill. When we got good at that, sitting without moving or falling asleep, we moved on to sitting across from one another with our eyes open. If one of us moved our big toe or looked down for a split second, the other had to say, "Flunk," and then we'd both have to start all over again. The goal was to be able to sit and confront another person comfortably without feeling the need to speak or do anything else other than look at the human being in front of you. This sounds awful, by the by. Also, part of the communication course is a training routine called the TR-0 bull bait, where the course focuses on doing whatever it takes to get the reaction of your twin, called push the other's buttons. The goal of the trainee is not to show any emotion or reaction at all, no matter what is thrown at him or her. If you speak, roll your eyes, cry, laugh, or even blush, you're met with a flunk. Like most girls, I was always self-conscious about my appearance, whether I had a pimple, if my nails were dirty, you name it. Nicole was, being my older sister, she knew all this. There was no one better at getting under my skin. What's that on your face? Nicole said during some bull bait session. Are you growing something on there? I instinctively touched my forehead. Flunk, Nicole said. Nick did it again and again, until it no longer bothered me. Well, until not a trace of emotion showed on my face, anyway. Literally, Victoria, for both reasons. It bothered me, but I couldn't show it if I wanted to pass this drill and move on. My sister had it a lot tougher when it was her turn. Oops. Hold on, what just happened? Did I lose my page? Okay, sorry. I thought I lost my page for a second. My sister had it a lot tougher when it was her turn. A male supervisor, who was probably in his 20s at the time, but seemed about 50 to me, tested her. "You have really big tits for such a young girl," he said, and Nicole to see if she could pass the drill and get her TRs in. "F you," she said. "Flunk," he said. "You have big tits for a young girl," he repeated. "I'm telling my mother." "Flunk," he said. Learn to confront what's happening in front of you and be above it. You are not a body, Nicole. You are a spiritual being. He didn't stop until Nicole, too, didn't react any longer. Our being on course made Mom, who by this point was working full-time for the church, really happy. After school and on weekends, Nick and I would do a course, which would take a minimum of 2.5 hours a day and run on average a week or two, but then we'd have to wait around for about 7 hours until Mom was done with work. So we spent a lot of time distributing church pamphlets. Passerbys would sometimes yell things like, "You're too young to be in an effing cult," and running the streets, dodging in and out of random buildings, which sometimes got us in trouble. We didn't meet too many kids at the New York org, although I remember one girl named Sherry who was my age but appeared a lot older. Could have been the cup of coffee she was always holding. Yeah, right, Tressa. Being emotionally abused made my mom real happy for us. I don't know if you guys know this, but seriously, Jen, the New York org, it's actually still there, and it's in the theater district, which is a huge bummer. It's right, I think it's on 44th or 45th Street, I can't remember which, right in between two theaters. And so anytime you're going to the theater, you always get accosted by these people. It's wild. My mom introduced me to her in the lobby there. She was in the Sea Org. There you go, Jen, Sea Org. Because of her specific location and duties, she was required to wear a uniform of a white shirt and blue pants. I was no doubt dressed in my tight jeans and a shirt that said Leah, and of course had perfectly feathered hair and gold chains. I looked at her outfit and asked, "What are you wearing?" "I work here, and this is my uniform," she said. Of course, it's in the theater district because it's not real. One long, never-ending play. No, I haven't seen that, Jen, but I did see the documentary about it. It's freaking wild. Wait, there was a girl my age who worked here at the same place as my mother? Here I am running around like a dopey kid handing out pamphlets, and there's a girl with a uniform and a coffee cup? I thought she was super cool. So after we started taking introductory courses, we were also encouraged to start participating into introductory auditing, a form of one-on-one counseling, usually an e-meter, an electronic device that claims to measure thought and emotions. A Scientology practitioner would ask the person being counseled specific questions and use readings on the e-meter, directs them to talk about the points of emotional discomfort or upset until they are relieved. Children as young as 7 can participate in auditing. They don't even have a formed brain. From Arizona. Sorry about that. Don't even have a formed brain. From Arizona. Sorry about that, guys. Are we back? Sorry, some random number from Arizona was trying to call me, and I don't know who they are. They tried calling twice, and they ruined everything. Okay. Children as young as 7 can participate in auditing. Both of those practices being on course, and the auditing are required 2 paths to move up the bridge to total freedom, which represents various states of spirituality. Seems like they want a bunch of, yeah, for real. I mean, that's obvious, Jack, right? They're just trying to brainwash them early on in life. Scientology was our life, not just in the New York org, but also back home in Brooklyn, where our mom started adapting the training routines to everyday scenarios. If Nick and I got into a physical fight over, let's say, which Solid Gold or Fantasy Island, or which to watch, Solid Gold or Fantasy Island, Mom would shout, "You guys, do a TRO," which meant that we had to sit and look at each other until we loved each other again. Sometimes that took a while. The whole idea of not reacting to other people no matter what they said was such a foreign concept where I came from. In our neighborhood, everything was about getting the opportunity to get in someone's face. Bensonhurst people didn't hold back. But the fact that Scientology offered a different way of living was exactly the point, according to Mom, who wanted more for us than what Bensonhurst offered. I understood that Scientology was about following the precepts laid out in the policies by leader L. Ron Hubbard, but if you did that, your life would be good. But if you committed overts or transgressions and didn't talk about them, didn't take Scientology courses or auditing, then you would receive something bad back from the universe. And the only way to really do things right for yourself in the universe was to stay connected to the church. Hey guys. I never met L.R.H., the popular science fiction writer who founded the church in 1952 and died in 1986, but still, he made a huge impression on me. The first time I walked into the New York org, I was struck by the big bronze bust of him. He looked like a god, or at least someone standing in judgment. There were pictures of him everywhere, and he was standing behind a big desk or writing something that looked like it had to be important. I don't know, Victoria. They haven't said anything about him in a little bit. I think he is, though. I think they're still together in real life. So, one would assume. What the sigma? That's really funny, Tressa. I felt pretty special. Everyone was telling me that I wasn't a kid, but a spiritual being with past lives, and that we were all on the same mission to clear the planet, to eradicate insanity, war, and crime across the whole world, and to create world peace on the earth by helping all beings free themselves with Scientology. I was told that I was now a part of an elite and important group who were the only ones doing anything about the planet. Her mom is not married to Dennis Romero, so they didn't stay together. Oh, that's a bummer, Naisa. I decided that this man was going to know me. There was a little locked wooden box with a pen and paper so you could write messages and leave them directly for LRH. Wow, she's walking already. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, Mary, congratulations. Hi, Ron, I wrote. My name is Leah, by way of introducing myself. I'm doing a communication course here with my sister. Shortly after, I got a letter back. It was typed on a clean white piece of paper and folded perfectly at the bottom, and it said, Love, Ron. Not a stamp. It was an actual signature. This was proof that I was special. Wow, that is some brainwashing. That is some brainwashing. In general, I was now starting to grow used to and like how the adults at the New York orb treated me with respect, which is so different than back in Brooklyn, where I was nothing more than an annoying kid. Scientologists praised me and my sister for finding our way back, and I was grown up to them. Scientology was so very powerful to me as a child because finally, after feeling subpar for so long, I never had the right clothes, apartment, furniture, food, toys, you name it. I now had something on other people. Traveling to the city, taking responsibility for my actions, working on my communication skills, all contributed to my sense of superiority. I could do things my friends couldn't, like steal leg warmers without getting in trouble, because I now had technology and they didn't. I used words like affinity, and that was pretty awesome as a kid. Or, you don't have to yell, just communicate, I would say to my friends' mothers. They were impressed that I would use a multi-syllable word. My dad, however, wasn't so impressed. After he moved out of our apartment, he moved into a big house with Donna, the woman who would later become my stepmom. My sister and I spent weekends there with him and Donna and their two daughters, Elizabeth and Stephanie, and Donna's other daughter, Christine. During those visits to my dad, more often than not, he would complain about my mother. Does your mother ever brush your hair? He said, looking at me. What are you, homeless? Doesn't your mother take care of you, or is she too busy with that cult of hers? Now that I had been doing my communication course, I was getting my TRs in and able to confront him. So over dinner with Nick and my stepfamily, all seated around a huge table covered with the best whipped potatoes, corn, salad, and warm Italian bread with butter, I summoned the courage to take on my dad. I don't think you should be talking about my mother, I said in a voice that was still a little less assured than I had hoped for. What? He said. I don't want you talking about my mother. Or what? Well, there's no or. I just don't want you to. Like, it's not nice. You don't come into my effing house and tell me what's nice. The heat in my body rose so quickly that I wanted to crawl into my own face. Whenever my dad spoke in that tone, I felt like I was being slapped. Don't react. Don't react. Remember bullbait, Leah. Dad, I really think it's better if you just communicate with us without putting us or our mother down. Huh. Is that what we should do? We should communicate? Is that what El Ron told you to say to me? He was laughing now, and despite my best efforts to keep it together, I started to lose confidence in what I was saying and how I was saying it. Why couldn't my dad just treat me like an equal the way the people at church did? Why couldn't he value me as someone who had something important to say? These were the kinds of exchange that proved what Scientology was teaching us. That people who don't get the ideologies of Scientology are not able or as healthy or mentally sound as we are, so they attack us. And now I believed what was right, and it was us against them. It was around this time that the Sea Organization It was around this time that the Sea Organization recruiters came to talk to my mom and Dennis and us girls. The Sea Organization was founded by L. Ron Hubbard in 1967 to staff his 3 ships on which he had taken up residence after the UK denied his extension visa. He wanted to live outside the jurisdiction of any government and away from the media, and he said he was continuing the research as he produced the OT levels on the ship. These levels of OT, or Operation Theton, are secret advanced levels of the Scientology bridge that you move on to only after you achieve a state of clear. Originally, the people with him were sailors brought on to keep the ship running. The crew then started taking on more functions within the Hubbard Sea Org, and the main ship, the Apollo, grew to a center for training Scientology staff from around the world. Subsequently, these people who were with Hubbard and the Sea Organization were entrusted with the highest level of functions, secrets, and clearing the planet through multiple lives as they were reincarnated over and over again for eternity. Okay. That sounds like the 7th layer of hell to me. I love a cruise, but this doesn't sound great. The Sea Org continues to be made up of the most devout and dedicated Scientologists, a clergy of sorts, who work for the church and are held to the highest standards within the organization. Yes, please don't sentence me to eternity. Although there are no official numbers, I have heard that there are close to 4,000 Sea Organization members. What are they getting reincarnated as? Barnacles. Yeah, it's only the 7th layer of hell, you guys. It's fine. I have heard that there are close to 4,000 Sea Organization members in the United States and roughly 20,000 Scientology parishioners, in total. So roughly 1 in 5 members tends to end up in the Sea Org. The church claims to have roughly 10 million parishioners worldwide, but this number apparently includes anyone who has ever bought a book, taken a course, or entered a church building. Estimates of the actual worldwide members are closer to just 35,000. Victoria, I will buy you a personal pina colada to keep you off the ship. You cannot be convinced. I will just buy you a pina colada. It's on me. Let's go. I'll get it right now. Anything. The recruiters told my mom and Dennis that this is the best thing for you, for the planet. You have a responsibility. Look at your girls. What are you doing? They're going down the wrong path. They're hanging out with the wrong people. There's a criminal element here. What kind of life is that? By this time, I was going through a comb package Run DMC Puerto Rican phase where I wore only Adidas. I had a mullet. I sang why can't I pronounce this word? I sang songs even though I didn't speak Spanish. And I hung out in Cropsey Park with a bunch of breakdancers. At least that's what I thought they were. As it turns out, they were also part-time people who deal things that you're not supposed to deal. But I didn't know about that. Back then, everybody carried a fanny pack. The recruiters preyed on my mom's concern for us to have a better life and her devotion to the religion. That they said, your girls can do what they want in the Sea Org. Leah can act right away in the Scientology movies, and Nicole can be trained to be a lawyer for the church. The planet is going downhill and your help is needed. In the end, what will your answer be to this question? Did you help? Mom and Dennis are already committed themselves to Scientology, bought it hook, line, and sinker, and now they were told that they needed more. So not only would we be saving the planet as Scientology dictates, but we would also be doing the things we loved. And Mom and Dennis could move up the bridge for free. This was provided only to Sea Org members. And with no distractions from the outside world. Plus no more paying bills, as the Sea Org would provide us with housing, food, clothing. It was all just too good to be true. Who could blame Mom and Dennis for signing us all up for that? Me. I could blame them. Me. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. I do. Yeah. Wowie zowie, you guys. Hey, Karen. Well, I can, I will, and I do continue to blame them. Yes, thank you, Victoria. So Victoria, you can cash in on that pina colada anytime as long as you sign a document that says I will not now or ever become a part of the Sea Org. That's my commitment to you. It's hard though, they're indoctrinated. They are victims, I agree. Okay, look, Tressa's right. I do think that her parents were brainwashed. However, like, especially if you have children, you gotta be better. You gotta be better. You gotta be more focused. The bad guy is Scientology, but you gotta, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there's like levels to it, right? Like, I don't know, you gotta look at it and be like, wait a second here. Something isn't right. You know what I mean? Like they were brainwashed, don't get me wrong, but we gotta be better than that on some level. Anyway, wow. I think I'm unbrainwashable, but maybe I've been brainwashed to believe that. I think I am not brainwashable for things like that, but I can definitely be brainwashed into fandoms. Yeah, seriously, Jen, tell me about it. How far are we into the book? We will be doing chapter 2 tomorrow. Yeah. So we're only day 2. It was Avery. It was, yeah. I think with memoirs they tend to be that way, or they go back and forth. But I'll upload this one later. Yesterday was the prologue. That's already uploaded, so we're on track to have everything uploaded. A-okay. Yeah, fandom's got me good. Fandoms have been getting me my whole life. Yeah, for better or for worse. I don't have a leg to stand on to say if they're good or bad. I always said that I could never end up in a cult, but I want to try it and try and improve it. Victoria, I told you, you only get the pina colada if you don't join the cult. You can't. I'll have to watch today's video, stupid work me. Yeah, I'll get it up right away, Sydney. It just takes a little while to process, but I'll get it up as soon as I can. All right, cool. I will see you all later. I've got a bunch of errands and stuff to run today, but I will get this up. They are nice, it's true, but maybe a little less harmful than this one, you know? I don't know. I'm too ADHD for anything the fandom's included. Yeah, it's cats and RVS. It's called a cat cult. Cat cult. I like it. Yes, have a fabulous day, everybody. If I have time, I will be on later to make slime. It just depends on how long my errands take. And that's pretty much the whole kit and caboodle. Lots of polls and stuff are going up on Patreon, so don't miss those. There's also a poll. Oh, you guys, I did post a poll yesterday on Patreon about a possible new tier that combines 2 of the tiers, because some people have been talking about wanting 2 of them. A lot of people really sign on for group roll for slimes like almost every week, and then they also want to get the slime of the month. So I put up a poll to see if at least 10 people want this new tier. So far we have 5 people. So if we get 5 more people that want that tier, I'll make the new tier, and we'll switch some people over to that. It just combines the 2 because people are already paying extra. Like if we combine these, you don't have to pay as much because I'll be able to combine your shipments. Right now, people are getting their first shipment and then signing on for a group slime, and then I have to ship that separately because I didn't know they were gonna get it. In this new tier, I would just hold their slime of the month for the group slime, and then we save on shipping. So it's just a good system for everybody. The only reason I'm doing it is because so many people sign up for extra group roll for slimes. Like you see it every live. We have so many people that jump on that, even though they're not on the tier, and they don't want to join the group roll for slime tier because they don't want to give up their slime of the month. You know what I mean? Which I get. So we're combining it. We're saving money. It ends up cheaper in the end. It definitely is. Jen, you're not the only one though. There's a good 15 people who do it. You see the list. You know what I mean? Sam does it almost every week. There's a couple of people who do it almost every week. So I just want to save everybody a little bit by just combining those shipments, because why are we giving our money to USPS when we don't need to, right? It's not like I'm getting extra money. It's just all going to shipping, right? So let's not waste money on shipping. Let's combine it. Let's make a new tier and call it a day. That's my opinion in the matter. I like streamlined things. I'm all about, you know. So yeah, me too, Jen. Me too. I've kept some of them, some of the extra from those. It's fun. All right, I will see you all later, and just make sure you go check out those posts. I know some people don't get post notifications on Patreon for whatever reason, so just a warning that I'm always posting stuff. I usually post on Patreon at least every other day, so always check it out. All right, Roxy, no big deal. I'll check it out as soon as I can. I didn't see any yesterday when I was on there, but if it's not about an order, feel free to just comment on the post that it relates to, Roxy, and we'll be good to go. All right, I will see you all later. Have a great day.